Ah, check, check. Are we on? Just doing some light reading. Hey, folks, how are you? I'm just on to keeping it light. Also, Adrian's okay. He's just as we said in the announcement, um, got hit by the second um, shot, and Cedric. It's humor. But no, what else would an inveterate 40-year fan of Adrian Belew be reading but some light MIDI guitar reading? So I thought I'd come in though, and because I know a lot of y'all would not have gotten the notices. Adrian's great. He's fine. He says hi. Well, he's not great. He's actually, under the weather from, a lot of our friends and family and colleagues, people I know. I was lucky. Um, I just got really tired at the 24 hours in. I got the J&J, and man, the next day I felt like I had the flu, but without the flu symptoms, just the tiredness. So I'm sure we all know people. I've got a dozen friends who um, had either something after the first or the second, and many friends who made it through very light or nothing happening. Anyway, he's cool, and we're gonna do this next week. I thought I would just come on for a few minutes, say hi, and just kind of make sure that those of you who, a lot of you are not on Twitter, or you're not on, you might not have checked it, or you might have just planned on it, and here you are. So thanks for being here. My name's André Chumley, and this is normally Confronting Creativity, and it still is. It's just a quick little visit here for whatever 20 minutes or something, but to make sure people know. So again, we'll be here in 1 week's time with Adrian Belew, and while we're here, as I always do, I'll thank you for taking time out of your day or evening or afternoon, wherever you are on this wonderful globe, and say thank you, and also say please subscribe. Please subscribe, ring the bell, be part of this. And again, I see some people coming in every minute or so. So I want to say again, I'm André Chumley. Regrettably, the Adrian interview is postponed by 1 week. So sorry, folks. These things happen, as you know. So I'll say that a few times. So next Friday, June 4th, same bat time, same bat channel, 6 p.m. Eastern, we'll be here. And we'll be talking about his new album. I wanted to make sure I came on and said that. Very exciting news for all of us Adrian Belew fans, and any music fans, really, of kind of his style of music, which is all over the place. But he's got a new record, and we've been talking about it. It's called Elevator, and we'll hear just a couple little snippets of it next week. That's one of the cool things that I'll let you know. And we'll see some of the artwork. We're going to talk about that, as he's done for I don't know how many records in a row now. This is his 25th record. Can you believe that? So we're going to talk about that. But he's done his own art, these wonderful paintings that range from impressionistic to just textural to all kinds of neat stuff to alien figures and things. But he's done a lot of beautiful art over the past 20 some years on his records, and this one is no exception. He's gone all out. There's some beautiful artwork, and it's, as is always the case with Adrian Belew, it's a record that goes in some new directions. There's some really cool stuff. So again, just here to give a little preview, that because I've been speaking to him quite a bit about a lot of stuff, gear and the record. I wanted to also say, to make sure y'all go check out the adrianbelew.net and check out Turquoise. That's the band Turkuaz, or Z for some of you who learned English from the English. And why I bring up Turquoise is this is going to be Adrian Belew's first tour in quite some time. None of us have toured, but I was actually with him on his most recent tour. As many of you know, I've worked for Adrian for nearly 15 years, and we were one of the things we're going to talk about today, but we'll talk about it next week. We were on a wonderful tour with a group called Celebrating David Bowie, and we were down in South America. We went to Iceland with Todd Rundgren and Angela Moore from Fishbone, and Michael Urbano, the drummer from Todd Rundgren, and from Bourgeois Tag, and Sheryl Crow. So all kinds of stuff we're going to share when we do have Adrian here. I'm not going to tell you everything, but these are just some previews. But it was his first tour since all that is coming up. It's with this group Turquoise. So check them out. It's a wonderful tour. They're going out with Jerry Harrison and Adrian. So they have two people from the 1980 Talking Heads version. Of course, Jerry is an original, always was a member of Talking Heads. But Adrian, as anyone watching knows, was in the band for a year and change. And so this group Turquoise, really cool group, is doing the entire Remain in Light album. So go look for that, and there's some dates coming up, and as things get safer, and these are outdoor kind of festival dates. So that's I just want to make sure you knew that. Also, I'll say hi to a few people. Spike Spikerson says, "Hey, it looks like Adrian grew a beard." Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so cool. So I think we're going to put something up here that, well, if people arrive late, they'll see this little clip that I leave up. But again, 1 week from today, a couple of things I want to touch base on. Also coming up, we've got this amazing young gentleman from, let me just pull him up right here. Coming up on my other show, because this show is called Confronting Creativity. And so we do this every 2 Friday nights, bi-weekly, fortnightly, whatever you like around the planet. And then every 2 weeks, I do another show called The Gear Spotlight, and that's every other Wednesday night. Let's see. Okay. We're doing some live production here, folks, because why not? Sharon, that's a different Turquoise. I was just checking that. That's cool that there's another Turquoise. No, it's Turquoise with a U. So people can find that. But that looks cool. This is Turquoise. Who are they? It's Arabic and Greek and Turkish music. Wow, sounds wonderful. Balkan, Albanian, Bulgarian. Sounds great. Sounds like something Adrian Belew would play on. So yeah, that's what's great. You probably went there and went, okay, cool, Adrian Belew. That's what's great. And working for Adrian Belew for 15 years, that's one of the things. The variety of music that the man has done in that time period, and that he's done through the years. One of the fun things I used to do, hopefully we do again, I would make a little playlist to so that when folks walked into the show, this music would be playing. And like any show, you get there, you get your seats and everything. It's usually, if it's a dinner place, you're there a little early, you're eating, but you're there about an hour, out, and you're just hanging out. We've all done it, and we play a lot of places like that, dinner theaters and theaters with seats. But it's a fun thing that I do, and I loved it every night because I'd make this set list and a playlist, and it would be, I'd have some King Crimson, some Zappa, some Talking Heads, some Tom Tom Club. That's the one that always got people. They didn't know. I'd have some Paul Simon from Graceland. I'd have some Herbie Hancock, Tori Amos, Joan Armatrading, right? He's on one of her records. Mike Oldfield. Adrian's on a Mike Oldfield record. I'd have 9 Inch Nails and maybe sneak in something from the Bears or something from one of his records. But the point was to have all this stuff that the man has played on. And it was cool because people would, you'd be watching people and they'd go, oh, what's the Paul Simon song? Call Me Al. That would come on, and I'd always see people kind of go, and that was my shtick. I would walk out during Call Me Al because I would time it right before the show, like 5 minutes to go, and kind of go out and tell people, about video policies or whatever. But I'd say, by the way, have you been enjoying the music? Oh yeah, yeah. City of Turning Lights, yeah. And I'd say, do you know who's playing guitar on this song right here, this guitar synth? And sometimes no one knew, sometimes one person. So I'd tell them, that, hey, wow, that's Adrian. And and he's on the whole record. So sometimes I'd play, one of the other songs. What's it, Boy in the Bubble, and so many good songs on that record. I just forget the titles. But people would be blown away. A lot of people didn't know he was on that song. But the one that always got them was um, Tom Tom Club, Genius of Love. Didn't, didn't. I can't play it because we'll get some copyright shit. So hopefully that was the right key. But and people would go, "Oh my God, that's Adrian Belew." So just sharing a moment here to fill some time, because I'm here to tell you that the interview is postponed. But that's always a fun part of the night, kind of watching people absorb that and say, "Wait a minute, I heard King Crimson, I heard Herbie Hancock. Wasn't there a Tori Amos song in that?" And it's really beautiful, because then they realize this man has been all around the map. And I kind of wrap it up there, and I say, and we're gonna go all around the map tonight. So, strap yourselves in. The band will be on in 3 minutes. So anyway, lots of fun stuff always on the road. Lots of humor, and lots of mind blowing music. And it's still exciting to watch this group play. So we're gonna talk about all that stuff next week. But like I said, a lot of what we're going to talk about is what's new, what's right now, what's he been doing for a year. We know, recording and reading a lot and all kinds of stuff. But the new album is what we're going to introduce you folks to. It's called Elevator. Get ready to order it. That's the other thing I wanted to say. This is a nice preview, by the way. We have Adrian now has a really cool new page, and I'll show it to you right here. Let's see. Let's get the technology going. So Adrian Belew has now a Bandcamp page. So let's see, where are we? That's number 3. I'm getting used to this new technology here. See if this works. Yeah, that works. So there we have it. So please check this out, folks, because this is brand new. He just got this going in the past year or so. You can get all of these great Adrian Belew releases finally all in one spot. That was not true for the longest while. And you can now just directly support yet another great artist. And some of these records, man, are so out of print. Looking through here, I have all of them. I'm sure many of you, if you're nerdy enough to be watching, have either all of these or quite a few. But if you need to fill in the blanks, if you need to fill in and find some stuff you don't have, you can start right at the beginning, and you can get Lone RHINO, and you can get all the stuff right up to this series recently, Flux 1 and 2. We're going to talk about Flux. Someone asked in the questions, ask him about the Flux app. Of course, we're going to talk about the 2 Flux apps, actually. One of them is a guitar effects package, and the other one is the music. I'm sorry, 3 volumes of Flux. And one that in the modern era, we used to, I don't lament it really that much. And I know Adrian doesn't. He's very much a future thinker. He's got this future vision vibe, and he's got that song. But we used to listen to our local FM radio station and kind of hear about what came out. Now you get on email lists, or you check, whatever. You check whatever you like, right? I use the Quietus, and I use Pitchfork, and I use various ways to know what's coming out, and about half a dozen other things. But a lot of people didn't know this one came out. This is a great record. It's only a year old. Just it came out right at the start of COVID. So obviously, like a lot of things, went down the rabbit hole. But if you don't have this one, pick this up by next week and kind of be up to date on what the man has recently done. But he's got this record and all the other ones available, and you can, as I said, kind of fill in your collection with anything that you're missing. So there you have it. So there you have Adrian. While I'm here, I wanted to say, and then I'm going to get out of here. The next week we've got Diego Teida. I gotta. His name for me is. I just got to be careful and say it correctly. As someone with a last name like mine, but Diego is part of the amazing band Haken, and we're gonna have. He's gonna be on Wednesday, June 9th. So we'll do some previewing of that. But just to give you an idea of what's coming up, he's a brilliant keyboard player. Hawkins, really awesome heavy band. They do kind of heavy metal, but it's progressive and it's weird. And he gets to do some pretty intense synthesis. This is just an overhead kind of fun shot that they did. But just to give a taste into, I thought I would. Yeah, weird band, there's somewhere, I'll kill the sound there. There's somewhere, I don't know, there's elements of all kinds of metal. That's why I really like them. I'm a huge metalhead, and but I like a variety of metal, and that's what's cool about Haken. They kind of get into a, I don't know, Fear Factory vibe a little bit. There's a little bit of Yes and Dream Theater and kind of Rush and all those kinds of bigger bands. But then they do this electronic thing that talks to the Aphex Twin side and kind of Porcupine Tree a little bit as well. And so wonderful band. And we're gonna have fun in about 10 days. Is that? I'm not sure of my math on that, but that's coming up right after the Adrian interview next Friday. So it's Adrian next Friday, June 4th. 5 days later, Diego from the band Haken or Haken. That's one of the, I've heard people say it both ways. But and then we got a couple other great interviews coming up. So just stay tuned, folks. Stay with us. All right, so I'm gonna wrap this up. I just want to let's just check here and see if does anyone have a quick question or any kind of well, bring your questions next week. I mean, a question for me, a question for Adrian, save it for next week. But just to make sure I'm saying hi to Papa Muse. How are you, my friend? How are you? Good. Thanks for stopping by. And Cedric says every time Mariah samples, yeah, that's a great one. Well, there's a great story there where I'll give us a brief abbreviated version. He didn't realize that song. He didn't know that song was there. Adrian Belew spends a lot of time making music and touring. So he, a lot of times he loves music, but a lot of times he hasn't heard some of the newer stuff, and his kids might play something. So he gets little sound bites of what's happening out there. But he said when that one was a hit, this is now, God, that's like 20 years ago, right? That Mariah hit. Something like that. And he said, yeah, he was getting like some royalties for it. And he was like, what, honey, what's this check here? And so they realized but right before that, the real punchline of the story, he was on tour, and someone came up, and they were after the show, and they had a Crimson record, and they had Twang Bar King, and you know everyone's having a good time, and he's signing all these records, and the next one's Mariah Carey, and he's like, oh, I don't play on this one, you know. I play on a million records, but I'm not on this record. And this person says, no, it's got this song. And then he's like, what do you mean? And that's when someone, you know, clued him in. Yeah, there's the sample on there, Tom Tom Club. Oh, and so that's a funny one. So he does joke about that. Uh, so yes, and of course Bowie. Right, I in my set list, in my playing list, I mentioned earlier. Sure, I'd play some stuff from Low, or I'm sorry, from Stage, and from Lodger. So anyway, folks, some of you are coming in late. It's clear to you, Adrian's not here. He's fine. He's a little under the weather. Had the second shot. Blah blah blah. 1 week from tonight, folks, we'll do this again. I wanted to keep this to 20 minutes or so, so I'm going to jump off. But rest assured, gonna have a blast next week. Elevator, that's the new album. Write it down, remember it. And he's gonna tell us why he called it Elevator. You got to tune in next week to find that out. You also have to tune in next week to get a preview of some of the art. In fact, as a special bonus, since we were gonna show this today, I will show. Let's pick one of these. I'll show you just one of the bits of quite trippy art. He just sent this over to me. But we're going to get into all of the artwork and all of the how he made the record, what he used. So this is one of the surreal kind of landscapey kind of things. And what's cool is Adrian's getting into new media and stuff like that, but painting, So there's a centerfold. There's a booklet, with a beautiful centerfold imagery we're going to take a look at. And let's see. And we're also going to talk about his paintings that are going online. So a lot of cool stuff to talk about next week. I can't wait. And I can't wait to see you all again. And I'll see you all again in 1 week, and then also on the 9th with Diego. And then we're just about to announce a bunch of really cool interviews coming up into June and July. So let me make sure I have, great. I got all your comments and questions. Spike Spikerson, thank you again. I'm going to go back to work here in my own space shuttle, which is heavily influenced by Adrian Belew, by the way, which is one of the fun things we always talk about. I work for him, and I do a pretty good job, in large part because I was one of his fans in 1981, and it made me learn, as I was joking around at the beginning of the show, it made me read books like this, which I still have 30 years later. It made me, figure out what synthesizers are and sampling and looping and all that stuff. So we'll talk soon. Thank you very much. And Lone RHINO, Joy Division's Unknown Pleasures equal Elevator design-wise. There we go. Yeah, well, that's just one picture. I think there's like 30 pictures on this thing. But and thank you, guitartour.net. That's me. And those of you who you can find me, YouTube is YouTube/André Chumley. Guitartour.net. You can find out what I do. I'm here on Make Weird Music every week, talking about gear on Wednesdays and all kinds of stuff, creativity and gear on Fridays, every other Friday. If you didn't catch it, by the way, let's do some backwards promotion. If you didn't catch it, 2 days ago, I interviewed an amazing person, Katie Coleman, who's a retired U.S. Air Force colonel and an astronaut. So check that out. It's right here on Make Weird Music. Why did we have an astronaut? Because she's a musician. She's a flautist or flutist. Or flute player. I see all of those are valid. But she takes her flute into outer space. She plays music up there. And she had some great stories to tell. So check that out. It's right here on Make Weird Music. Katie Coleman from 2 days ago, May 26th. And find me at Guitar Tour. That's who I am on Twitter, on Twitch, on Instagram, @ Guitar Tour. Really easy to find me. And we'll see y'all in a week. All right. Take care of yourselves.